Well, good morning, KOTA territory. Welcome to KOTA Now's First Sip, episode 21.
Wow. That's crazy.
We're working on this. We're chugging through these episodes. But with that in mind, I'm Humberto Giles Sanchez.
And I'm Mimi Herrick.
We're glad to see that you are joining us. Grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, or something warm this morning. As you can see behind us, it's not looking too pretty,
no.
But you know, it's
much
kind of
needed moisture.
Yes,
hopefully.
yes, much needed moisture. But it's kind of funny that we're talking about this because, you know, I was so under the impression, at least starting Monday, but then we got the news that it probably wasn't going to be this case later during the week.
I thought spring was here.
I say
to stay.
I thought it was here. I thought we were going to be able to actually do some good spring cleaning and maybe do some good, planting and whatnot for kind of those who like to plant. I love to grow all sorts of plants, veggies. Currently, I'm still growing the peppers that I got last year. Those are still going crazy. They're going strong. Then my cilantro plant. Unfortunately, it's dying now. I think it's lived its life. I got a ton of seeds from it.
It's running its course.
Yes, I got a ton of seeds from it. I still have a lot of lavender. I'm still growing a lot of mint. And then you got some, a radish.
Oh,
A
fun.
radish is coming in, which is crazy. But anyways, talking about growing and spring stuff, for those who are interested in planting some good, crops or some good herbs, spices, stuff around here this year, we got some tips for you.
Yes. For sure. I'll go ahead and start. Basically, when you're planting here in South Dakota, you want to make sure you know your zone. Now, South Dakota's interesting, right? Mm-hmm. Because there are 3 different zones in South Dakota. So there's Zone 3, which is, I believe,
it's closer to the northern part of the state. Yep.
And then there's Zone 4, which is much of the middle. Yep. And then there's even Zone 5, which is the warmest, more temperate climate of South Dakota.
For us, yeah. It's a little bit more workable, and you can kind of plant a little bit more things a little bit earlier in those areas. But there are splotches of it. And if you want to see, we have a kind of a little map here, a little map that we printed out. But this is kind of, and I'm leaving it up here so we can see. There you go, perfect. We got this from the USDA, found this information on Urban Farmer, Love the Earth. So if you're interested to find some more information, that's where you can get it at. The USDA is a really good place to find information on where these zones are and what can grow in these zones. In fact, got the whole kind of calendar going on here.
They've got calendars for it and everything.
Season,
we can shout out some of the ones that are coming up in April here. Is a great time to plant. We have arugula, asparagus, beets, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, carrots, chives, parsnips, peas, potatoes, spinach, turnips, and there are more. I found this whole list on almanac.com/gardening, and if you go in there, it'll let you put in your zip code so that it'll tell you exactly what plants you can grow where you are based on your zip code.
And if you are interested in kind of doing this, it's not only good to kind of start planting, for yourself and kind of maybe for your family a little bit, planting some of those crops ahead of time. So that way, you get them when it's time, when they're ready to go, you harvest them and you got some food there. It saves you money in your wallet as well.
Oh, for sure. When I was in college, I did a story actually with someone who turned her entire backyard in Denver into like sort of an urban farm, and she was eating that food for years after canning it and jellying stuff and jarring things. So you can really preserve a lot of things, and it will save you a ton of money and time, and it will be healthy too because you grew it fresh.
Yeah, no, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, she was the coolest person I've ever met.
And along with that, that kind of sticks out because I remember I was trying to do something similar to that. Unfortunately, I had to move out here after college, but I wanted to try something like that. My mom tried to keep it alive as much as she could, but it eventually just didn't grow back because, Illinois soil didn't allow it. It was too acidic around the area. Again, that's another thing you should watch out for is your soil acidity. If it's too acidic, your plants aren't going to like it. You might got to make sure it's the right acidity for that plant or crop or veggie, fruit, whatever you're planting. Make sure that it's the right level for it. your plants will thank you.
Yeah, and gardening beds are like a
Yes.
great option for that too as well. If you don't want to tear up your backyard
Yes.
and turn it into a gardening paradise, you don't have to. You can set off a little small.
Oh,
section.
and if you watched our last episode about composting, you can use some of that compost to help you. Again, something I must reiterate from the last time: compost is not fertilizer. It's not a substitute for a fertilizer. So keep that in mind. You will still probably need some, but it does help your plant get some more nutrients in there. But talking about those zones, right? So here in Pennington County, the middle portion here in Rapid City, we are considered Zone 5, which means that we have a little bit more leeway when we can start growing, start preparing stuff like that. And according to the USDA's kind of plant seed calendar here, the best times right now, April, you can kind of plant some beets, some broccoli, Brussels sprouts. Wait a little bit longer, maybe next week. You should start planting some cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, probably next week as well, kale, onions, peas, peppers, spinach, tomatoes, stuff like that. You can start doing that. Next month, however, if you're interested, you can start planting some beans, some more corn, some cucumbers, some lettuce. You can plant some onions again, peas, peppers, spinach, squash.
Ooh.
So for those people that like squash, you can do that.
For the squash lovers this fall.
Yes, and if you live, in Meade County, closer to kind of the Sturgis area, same thing. So a little bit splotches of Zone 5 there. But if you are closer to Belle Fourche and kind of closer up there, you are Zone 4, which means that you will be
a little colder.
Yes,
You're a little shifted back
yes.
compared to us here in Rapid City.
Unfortunately, that soil is going to be a little harder to work with right now. You got some beets, some broccoli. Probably wait a little bit more until next week. Wait for the temps to get a little bit better. But beets, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, carrots, kale, onions, peas, peppers, spinach, tomato, all near the end of April. Those definitely will be the best time. And for those all the way up there in Hardin County, Zone 5. We're talking cold. We're talking the ground is probably
you
still
said
not.
Zone 5, 3.
Or
Zone
three. Sorry, yeah.
Counting down, not up.
Yes. Sorry, my bad. 3. Zone 3. Thank you for the correction. We're talking the ground isn't as workable yet, or the seeds won't really enjoy it as much as the other zones, which is crazy.
You can start things inside as well.
Yes.
If you're really itching to get going, you can start things as seedlings and then take those seedlings and plant them into the ground when it is time.
Oh, perfect. Yes, I was gonna. So currently, we're getting a comment here actually from one. You guys are actually for Deadwood, kind of Lee Deadwood area. Surprisingly enough, you guys are Zone 5. So there's splotches of Zone 5 in the Lee Deadwood area. Yes, and that is because most of that, a lot of that kind of moisture in there is actually still. The ground gets a little bit warmer.
Yes.
There we go. Better, it gets a little bit warmer. It seeds, according to the USDA, you guys are Zone 5, which means that you can start planting kind of not outside, maybe start it inside a little bit, but especially with the weather that we're going to kind of have here coming up. But probably some beets, broccoli, again, beets, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, kale, lettuce, onions, peas, peppers, spinach, and tomatoes. That's a whole thing. But back to Hardin County. You guys are Zone 3, which means that you might have to wait until May.
Yeah,
a lot of the stuff is in May,
May.
Yes, May. If you like to plant beans for the season, for the year, you got to wait until June a little bit. Start those indoor though.
Yes,
a lot of those things
easier.
you might want to start those indoor, and a lot of the time it is very recommended. If you look in the back of the seed packet that you grabbed at the store or at your local kind of seed nursery,
yes.
You can 100%. Even ask them. They know exactly when and where you should also plant those as well. But look at the back. It usually tells you a little bit about when the plant starts to sprout and kind of when it starts to mature.
Yes,
so that's another
exactly.
good way too. And also, another thing that I've noticed, those seed packets have a map themselves in the back, and you can kind of see the little zones there.
They'll guide
as
you
well.
with what you need to be doing. And
Yes.
speaking of spring gardening, you might also be thinking about spring cleaning. I know I am because I haven't started.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I haven't started either. You should see my table. It is a big mess of seeds and
the catch-all
soil.
of
Yes.
everything. I'm really, really bad about it. But we have some tips here. This first one is from Hoover Direct, and then the rest of our tips are from Martha Stewart herself. So our first 6 are to create a clear plan, Begin by decluttering, which I really need to do that. Start from the top down and clean on a sunny day with the windows open. So maybe not today, but I'm forcing myself to do it today. I said I would do it today.
As in, I need to do that too. Not like, yeah, you need to do that.
Yeah, I do. Setting time limits and rewarding yourself and turning on the tunes. I know I asked you this on air earlier.
I did.
Do you have a cleaning song?
You know, I don't have a cleaning song. I don't have a specific song, but I do put on a playlist that just plays, you know, lo-fi music or some
You don't like to
calming.
jam?
No, I also like some calming stuff. I don't necessarily like a lot of upbeat stuff while I'm cleaning. I think that gives me a little bit too much.
Too much energy?
Energy
I
that
love
rushes
that.
me too much.
I love that part of it. But with specific rooms, you know, we can start with the kitchen. Clean your appliances, clean your oven, clean your microwave, clean your dishwasher, inside, outside, all of it.
Exactly. Something that I've noticed as well, and something that I've always overlooked until recently, until my mom kept reminding me, hey, check behind your oven. If you need to eat, look, a lot of food gets stuck back there.
It gets real
and
gross.
I mean a lot of food
Like
gets
really
stuck.
nasty.
Yeah, so you need to clean back there. Make sure that you don't get any of that like mold, any of that stuff growing back there because you don't want to. It is one of those places that often gets overlooked. Another place behind the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Those places, you usually place the appliance there and you don't think about it. So then it's an afterthought.
Keeps gathering
Yes. And unfortunately, those are some good places to do. I know we also talked about this on Good Morning Black Hills, your cabinets.
Yes.
Take out those herbs, spices, canned food, whatever you're cleaning, dishes, whatever is in there. Clean off that dust, especially if you have one of those cabinets that's like high up. You want to get up like on a stool. In order to be able to kind of clean up there and de-dust, because a lot of dust gets stuck up there.
It really does. You know, my dad always jokes. He's like, I can always tell when my mom and him were like first dating, he would be like, yeah, I could tell that no one could see the top of the fridge. So there's a thin layer of dust. And he said he felt too bad to tell my mom about it because she couldn't see it.
Well, you know what? I'm on your mom's side because I've never seen the top of the fridge.
Never seen it.
Yes,
Don't need to know. None of my business, right? But definitely make sure you're looking at things like that. Another thing is throw away your old and expired food items. I know that sometimes we can forget about a jar of peanut butter, some pasta noodles, you know, things like that that are maybe expired. You know, once a year it's good to go through and make sure, oh, this expired 3 months ago in January and I should maybe get rid of it.
And same applies to stuff that is to items that are in your fridge. I know a lot of the time we tend to believe that, you know, the food, when we put it in the fridge, it lasts forever. It does not. It just reduces the amount of time it takes to expire by a little bit, but that bacteria is still growing on that food. And at the end of the day, it can't expire even if it is in the fridge or in the freezer. Yes. A good way for the freezer is if it has freezer burn, it's time to throw it away.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, then like the easy stuff, clean the inside of the fridge and freezer and then wash all of your towels, cloths, sponges, all of that. Just a refresh on everything.
Yeah. How often do you change your sponge?
I am actually kind of weird about it because I don't like it when a sponge gets like a weird dried out texture. So I probably change it like every other week or something.
That's fair. So
it just grosses me out when it's like that.
And that is perfectly fine. I usually change my dish sponge about like once or twice every month, depending on what I cooked that month. Because I know sometimes those sponges can get really nasty.
Yeah, just something about the texture of them when they get dried out, it really freaks me out. So then moving on into the bedroom, flip your mattress, rotate it, dust it, you know, clean it as best you can, wash all your bedding, and then organize your clothes and shoes. This one I have been putting off for a while because I have a lot of clothes and shoes.
Oh man, can we end it now? Because
Yeah, I know.
It's something I need to.
Even here, I have to go through the stuff that I keep here, and I need to decide what I am going to keep here and what I'm going to bring home.
You know, what's crazy is that I've had, you mentioned that. It's like I've had a conversation with my girlfriend about that too. Every now and then I come home and she's like, with her hands on her waist, like, hey, pick those up. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then moving into the bathroom, another easy one, clean your shower heads and taps. Those can get a lot of buildup from the minerals that are naturally occurring in our water. Washing your shower curtain. That's definitely not something that I ever think about very often, just because I don't ever notice it, but it is a good idea to wash that, maybe change the liner on the inside of that shower curtain if you can, and then clean all your surfaces. You know, I have a really bad habit of letting makeup just get all over my bathroom counter. So I'm definitely gonna have to do that.
You know, what's makeup to you is soil and kind of dirt, and flour to me. Since I tend to bake a lot and cook a lot of the time I get flour everywhere.
Even in your bathroom counter?
Yes.
Oh my God.
100%. No, but like whatever counter it is, it's just usually either has like something that it has either flour if it's on the kitchen, if it's in the living room, or if it's in the room where I usually start to plant stuff, there's dirt everywhere over it. And then I walk in, I'm ashamed because I should have cleaned it a while ago.
Yeah, I feel that. And then, obviously clean the toilet, wipe down your mirrors, clean your showers with glass cleaner, anything that needs to be cleaned like that. Organizing your toiletries and cosmetics, throwing away those expired products. I am guilty of not doing that. I have actually probably like 2 different lipsticks in my makeup bag here right now that are expired that I will still use. And then washing towels, flannels, makeup brushes, sponges, shower mats, anything that gets dirty, wash it. It's a perfect time to reset.
And I'll tell you right now, the next two sections, I'm really bad at. I need to get better at it. The cleaning the outdoors one, the sweep decks, paths, and patio. I need to do that.
It happens.
I'm embarrassed to say it, but right now it's a mess. Just because I've been potting and planting and everything, and I usually get to clean it, but I just haven't had the time, and I need to do it.
Yes.
Something that I haven't done either, but some of those who are homeowners that are watching right now, inspect and clean your gutters. That is another thing that also gets often overlooked. That can cause trouble over time if you don't clean it.
Yeah, definitely some leaks and stuff if you don't clean those out regularly. Yeah. Keep an eye on it.
And then for the final one is spring cleaning the living room. The couch, we don't have a couch at home, so we have the living room, the dining table, and then some chairs. So I usually wipe those off, especially because we have a cat and I'm allergic to cats, which is very ironic. But I have a cat, and I usually have to wipe down the surface before I sit down on it, or I pretty much sit on any of the chairs because cat hair gets there, or she likes to sit on them. And
yeah.
I don't blame her. They're cool.
Yeah, another one is washing all your blankets and throws and the cushion covers. This is something I have to do pretty regularly because I also have a cat, and his hair gets everywhere, and it makes me really annoyed when I have cat hair on a nice blanket. I'm like trying to sleep, and I'm like, there's cat hair all over.
Yep. But and if you have a pet, make sure to kind of, like I said,
vacuum the couch too. Vacuum the pet hair out of the couch. Make sure you're getting as much as possible because buildup of that can be really gross.
Yep. And kind of some final pointers here. Clean your windows. A lot of the time, we don't tend to clean those either because they're glass. So we tend to not think about them, or the dust is just going to fall off. No, clean those off. If you have young children, the stains get on those.
Fingerprints.
Yes, fingerprints. If you cook a lot of the time that smoke carries around. Some of those greasy stuff, or just
residue.
Yes, residue. To put it lightly. And sometimes it gets stuck there too. Or, you're just taking down decorations or putting up decorations, and then you get fingerprints on there as well. But yes, wipe those down, clean those up. Those are final tips, at least for spring cleaning. Do you have anything else, Mimi?
I was just this last one is clean your washing machine. I think that's a great one. You don't want the lint or dryer stuff to be a fire hazard. So that's my last thing.
I recently actually got our washer cleaned because it needed that since it's been a while since I first moved in there and had it cleaned. So I'm just double check. But yeah, try to get those done as soon as you can. It is spring. We want to make sure our homes are lovely going into the spring season and into the summer season whenever it arrives. I'm excited. It seems like we're going to have a good one as long as moisture's here.
Oh, yeah.
As long as we get more moisture, I think we would be happy. But with that being said, I'm Humberto Giles Sanchez.
And I'm Mimi Herrick.
Thank you for joining us on First Sip. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday morning, and we'll see you back here at KOTA on the KOTA Now desk for your weekend weather outlook tomorrow.
And DIY Fridays.
Oh yeah, and DIY Fridays. Can't forget that. Who is your guest? You got to find out and watch tomorrow, though.
Yes. I'm not spoiling it.
Yep. See ya.